Hello. What Tanya said about asking consent, about putting your family in your blogs, I've got to say, as somebody who used to write a column about his family life in The Guardian, I couldn't agree more. It's kind of, there's very few, that I sort of think it's kind of slightly indefensible and kind of haunting when you put your family in your stories and then, regret it years later. So think of me as a cautionary tale. I've written a speech. About a year ago, I noticed that another Jon Ronson was posting on Twitter using my photograph as its avatar. Going home, he tweeted, "Gotta get the recipe for a huge plate of mussel in a bap with mayonnaise, #foodie. Who are you? I tweeted him. Making an unhealthy portion of bell pepper and tangerine in a bap with mint, #yummy, he tweeted. I didn't know what to do. The following morning, I checked the other Jon Ronson's Twitter feed before I checked my own. In the night, he tweeted, "I'm dreaming something about time and cock." He had 20 followers. Some were people I knew from real life, who were probably wondering why I'd suddenly become so passionate about fusion cooking and candid about dreaming about cock. I did some digging and discovered that it was a spam bot created by an academic called Luke Robert Mason. I emailed to ask him to take it down. "We prefer the term infomorph to spam bot," he wrote back. "But it's taken my identity," I wrote. "The infomorph isn't taking your identity. It is repurposing social media data into an infomorphic aesthetic," he wrote back. I felt a tightness in my chest. I was at war with a robot version of myself. A month passed. The other Jon Ronson was tweeting about his dinner parties 50 times a day. The other Jon Ronson was kind of having a slightly better life than I was having, I should point out. I wrote to Luke that if he wouldn't take it down, maybe we should meet and I could film the encounter and put it on YouTube. He agreed. He turned up with 2 fellow academics, Dan and David. Dan was a lecturer at the University of Cologne, and I've got a clip of my encounter with them.
Are you going to ring up the London phone book and insist that all the people who have the same name change their listings to...
No,
there's something
because they didn't choose to call themselves Jon Ronson because of me.
Yeah, but
you're choosing to call this Jon Ronson because of me.
You seem to be saying there is only one Jon Ronson and I'm the real Jon Ronson. You're kind of proposing yourself as the real McCoy, as it were, and you want to maintain that authenticity. And I think we feel annoyed with you because we're not quite persuaded by that. We get the feeling that you're not so much saying, I want to maintain my integrity and authenticity as the real Jon Ronson. We think there's already a layer of artifice there, and that what you're saying is that it's your online personality, the brand Jon Ronson, that you're trying to protect, yeah?
No, it's just me tweeting.
It's not you. No, you're you. We've met you. Now, today, we're meeting face-to-face, person-to-person. The internet is not the real world.
Yeah, but I write my tweets and then I press send. Mm-hmm. So it's me on Twitter. That's not academic. That's like...
I think to take it back to where it came
from. It's not postmodern. Just the fact of it.
This is bizarre. I find it really, really strange the way you're approaching it. You must be one of the very few people I've ever come across who's chosen to come on Twitter and use their own name as their Twitter name. I don't really know anyone who does that. And that's why I'm a little suspicious of your motives here, John, because that's why I say I think you're using it as brand management. That's why you're using your own name.
You know what?
And
I
therefore-
have never used the term brand management in my life. I've never used that phrase in my life.
But I just get the sense of why would you use your own name?
You come from a whole
That's
different
bizarre.
language to me. These words that you use are a completely different language,
Uh-huh.
and that's the same about this spam bot. Its language is completely different to mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
what's annoying me so much. It's like a misrepresentation of
You'd
me.
like it to be more like you.
No, I'd like it to not exist.
That's bizarre.
Then I'd like it to not exist.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't know, I find something quite psychologically interesting about that.
Why?
You know, there's a kind of interesting, kind of uncanny sense of, I don't know, I find that quite aggressive almost. Like you'd like to kill these algorithms, then you must feel threatened in some way.
I imagine you talking about infomorphs and reality discourses while having one of your dinner parties that your Jon _Ronson's always going on about, eating your wasabi dumplings. And I would walk past that dinner party and I'd think, God, that's a bit Nathan Barley.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that.
But that's the world that you're presenting to me.
It's fiction.
I had to stop the clip there because straight after that I jumped out from behind the camera and stabbed him in the face. After the interview, I staggered out into the London afternoon. I dreaded uploading the footage because I'd been so screechy. There were other times when I was very screechy. I steeled myself for comments mocking my screechiness and I posted it. I left it 10 minutes. Then, with some apprehension, I had a look. "This is identity theft," read the first comment I saw. "They should respect Jon's personal liberty." Wow, I thought cautiously. "Somebody should make alternate Twitter accounts of all those ass clowns and constantly post about their strong desire for child porn," read the next comment. I grinned. I was feeling giddy with joy. I was like Braveheart, striding through a field, at first alone, and then it becomes clear that hundreds are marching behind me. These fucked up academics deserve to die painfully. The cunt in the middle is a fucking psychopath, read the next comment. I frowned slightly. I hope nobody's going to actually hurt them, I thought. Please gas these cunts, especially middle cunt, and especially left-sided bald cunt, and especially quiet cunt, and then piss on their corpses, read the next comment. Bloody hell, I thought. Had we become the people in the lithographs being ribald at whippings? I thought back on the various Twitter shamings I'd enjoyed and felt proud of. The first big one happened after the Boyzone singer Stephen Gately had been found dead in October 2009. The coroner recorded a verdict of natural causes, but Jan Moyer in the Daily Mail had written, "Whatever the cause of death is, it is not by any yardstick a natural one. It strikes another blow to the happy ever after myth of civil partnerships." As a result of the completely justified Twitter fury, Marks and Spencer's and Nestle demanded that their advertising be removed from the Daily Mail website. After that, when the powerful transgressed, we were there. When LA Fitness refused to cancel the gym membership of a couple who'd lost their jobs and couldn't afford the fees, we rallied. LA Fitness hurriedly backed down. These were great times. It felt like hierarchies were being dismantled. We were replacing a flawed justice system with citizen justice. Hitherto remote evil billionaires like Rupert Murdoch and Donald Trump created their own Twitter accounts. So for the first time in history, we sort of had direct access to ivory tower oligarchs like them. We were keenly watchful for transgressions and then misspeakings. But fury at the terribleness of other people started consuming Twitter a lot. Our rage seemed increasingly in disproportion to whatever stupid thing some celebrity had said. It wasn't satire, it was punishment. In fact, it began to seem weird and empty when there wasn't anyone to be furious about. It felt like an unhealthy escalation in the war on flaws. Journalists and academics who plagiarized were brutally shamed, and when they tried to apologize, they were told there was no forgiveness, no re-entry. We would shame and we'd be shamed. Some poorly worded political opinion or unwise joke would open the gates of hell upon us. We were like corporations that had committed PR disasters. We had to learn how to do damage limitation. It was very stressful. This session wonders how technology will shape the way we think. I think there's a fear that this rush to define people by their flaws is leading to a more conservative, conformist age. Look, we're saying, we're normal. This is the average. I've been writing a book about public shaming. It was abolished as a punishment in 1837. The stocks, the pillory, the scarlet letter, the whipping post, the lot. And now it's back, delivered like remotely administered drone strikes. We are doing something that was considered inhumane in the 18th century. I recently asked the recipient of a famous public shaming what it felt like, and he said, "Worse than being very badly beaten up by my father." Thank you.